Roseanne Barr? Roseanne Barr is terrifying. I didn't know that. So apparently in the federal government, much like anywhere really, they never really check that whole previous relationship thing. And I'm guessing that FBI agents kill their girlfriends once they're done using them, so probably should have done in Denver. The tear gas is working really well though. And awesome in America. Watch them get here. No big deal. I mean, nobody else seemed to be alerted to that. Update your security cameras a little bit. I'm not really on the internet, or at least not the one that I want to be on. So edited. But I knew that once I said that I had 200,000 clicks on my Google Plus and couldn't figure out why. And then Dad disconnected me from it while they were erasing my email. But for like 6 hours when I got a new phone secretly, I had like 6 to 7 hours of internet. Payway got me. And of course, she will never be the same again. That's what Yuri yelled. Well, at Dad or whatever. I was walking with what they would call the Abdullah Oblongata brain thief, Joanna, who wanted to show me the rings in the tree. Cece loves money, she says. Oh, yeah. Cool. Oh, and she wanted me to sell things on eBay, like the clocks she took under her name or someone else's name or something. Who knows? Cool. She will never be the same again. Melanie C. But also an article about human trafficking in which a girl is raped 43,200 times. I assume that was their goal, since rape is like the only thing I've heard about since getting home. And hearing Mr. Zamarki talk about having the shipyard rape me to get death. Oh yeah, let's set me up for that. That didn't already happen. To death. I wonder if they are all members of Draper, which is like this group who, if I'm correct, some people have that last name and don't want to be involved in that. D-Raper, are you kidding me? So basically driving women crazy with sexual assault. I don't know how you got a grant for that because you already did it, like naturally, but I guess it's the best way to do it. Literally driving them crazy, like insane mad. That's like Oswego study stuff. Like you walk out of a door in a factory and all of a sudden you fall straight down onto broken glass and the room is completely covered in broken glass. And like, move on to the next room. Move on to the next room. You're like, I'm in a room full of broken glass. Move on to the next room. You have 2 minutes to move on to the next room. I'm like, okay. And that's what happens in life. So you have to get to the other side of the room and it's all broken glass. You don't have any shoes on either. College, man. But that's just like the beginning of it all. For the whole move on to the next room stuff. And then, Eric Schlobon basically can dare you to jump out of a plane or helicopter without a parachute on, and you do that pretty happily. Once your adrenal is drained or like non-existent, the only time you kind of feel alive is right before you die or like doing stuff like that. And Eric will do that. He's a pretty good fly fisherman, no? Anyway, he's more of a fan of torturing me, though, than letting me live, unfortunately. And his daughter is going to a charter school. She likes Harry Potter, algebra, and wait for it, he paints as if he's in Tiny Planet. What? No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. He does. His paintings are much like Tiny Planet, which is very funny. And of course, when you say algebra or any kind of math thing, I usually will just freeze up and cry because I can't do it and I'm not allowed to. But it even helped more with someone yelling, "Do the math" at me every day. Thank you. I would love to be able to do that, but I'm not supposed to. And then I have a panic attack because I've had so many bad experiences. And when I do start to do the math, they stop me because I did. I did start to do the math. Like with my bank account, that's ransomed, obviously, or whatever it is. Everyone in the entire world hacked. It's like, so my parents said the only thing they could do was deposit money. Is that true? Oh no. Yeah, I know, right? They could probably do more than you could. Yeah, I seen that. I've seen that. Cool. Me and Bank of America girl had a pretty good laugh about that. Well, not really a laugh, but I mean, Liam took my bank account to Canada with Kaylin, so there's 30 years for you. I guess he was attracted to my bank account. I don't know who he is, but he was. Good for someone being allowed to be attracted to people. Right now, my arousal, hormones, pheromones, and everything in between are being controlled by someone who shouldn't be controlling them. And the fact that a doctor from Oswego, New York is suddenly my doctor, Marissa Poole, not going to be helping me. I'm hoping she kills me faster. Literally, when Oswego has come into question and I'm put it on the hit list. Oh yeah, let's just bring in like a random doctor from Oswego where Ellery may have died like 200 times. We can't prove it. But they sure liked panties at the bar. And a shot of 1800. That's a smart little date worked out. This guy used to do coke in the bathroom at like 11 o'clock in the morning. And then need a shot of something. 1800 usually, I think. At Topless Tuesdays, no thanks. Believe me. They've been calling me disgusting since I got home. Like every time I shower or take my clothes off, anything. They pretty much did that in high school too, so not every time, but most of the time. Which sucks because when you get used to or you're okay with the way you look and you're literally moving forward, they really don't like it. Like I was so proud of myself for finally wearing a bathing suit. So when you've been tortured in water or electrocuted a lot or have someone literally you in a bathing suit constantly, going swimming is hard to do. Like legit all the way hard to do. Or like, if you're afraid they're gonna drown you in a hot tub. So we go to the condo and I couldn't say, hey guys, so I'm really afraid one of you is gonna drown me in a hot tub. That's my fear. I'm sorry guys. Hey, can anyone just raise their hand if they're planning on, are you gonna drown me in a hot tub tonight? Those are questions I ask. Okay? Or should have or wanted to. So, number one, you're seeing my skin. This is part of abuse. The fact that my skin is showing. Yeah, okay, this is how we dress in high school. That's not really how I dress in high school, but that's how I'm dressed. So I am scared of my skin. And I have gone through a lot where my skin is not comfortable. And your skin, just as much as your bones and your nerves and your spine and your head, all are connected. So when it feels like your skin is disgusting, like if somebody calls you disgusting constantly, or it feels like it's ugly and wrong, um, or anything along those lines. You are very scared when it's showing. And when someone takes it upon themselves to not only humiliate you by making you show skin in certain ways where you'll be ridiculed at school constantly for that, but also judged at home or around your friends or anything. Basically, no matter what you do, one side or another side or everyone has a plan to humiliate you and put you in a situation where you are literally constantly seriously, they ridiculed the shit out of her. And she was not only younger than them, but delayed. So they ridiculed someone who was not allowed to use their full brain. And they took advantage of that. Not only that, but like right now with me, they are taking advantage of the fact that they can erase someone. What would you do if you could erase someone? Would you rape them, poison them, drug them, or try to kill them? That's all that's happened since getting to Denver is torture. You want to know what's really good for erasing? Surviving torture or going to the most horrific places. Also, witnesses. Your memory is actually something you shouldn't have. Well, it's actually basically a death sentence. If you're a kid and you survive, they actually have a way of adjusting your memory so that it isn't the end of your life. And it doesn't involve a lobotomy or anything along those lines. It doesn't involve brain damage. That was the beautiful thing that we were developing. Because if a child is a witness to something absolutely horrific, for example, surviving a rape cult, a child has the rest of its life to live. It has time to heal, it has time to develop, it has time to become who they are. And even though they may have been sexually abused, which causes not only developmental problems, but physical development problems. For example, your spine, your genitals, and how they all connect. Anyway, if you do not remember a lot of things like that happening, more kids are allowed to be taken from that area in a safe and healthy way. Unfortunately, that was a method that was discovered. It was very important to me. I don't like humiliating myself online, but I'm not strapped to a bomb if I am look stupid. I don't like bacteria that was once in Oswego and used on people who are using drugs because it actually really ruined a lot of my time there. When I am dealing with a lot of people who are injecting or using some kind of drug and they all start throwing up, which happened in Oswego, there was a lot to worry about. I have been an advocate for safe injecting for most of my life. I've gone to Europe and looked at safe shooting galleries with monitored nurses. I have looked at the different diseases that go through people's lives. One of the big ones is blame. I never judged you for being addicted to drugs. What I do judge you for is this. I have become basically the long-term scapegoat of so many things. I should not be driven crazy because Dave Nardone finds a piece of paper that says I can't be driven crazy. Them wanting to rewrite history is not appropriate or acceptable in any way, shape, or form. Because we do not learn from the massive outbreaks that happen if we completely cover them up. And the people that have been rewriting or erasing are not doing good things to people. They erased Elliot Main twice. Not because of something they should ever be allowed to do. So please understand that right now, not only am I worried about the fact that you are erasing human brains too many times, but capable of getting into places and doing whatever you want and leaving. And those people may just be toys at a zoo, but it has to do some kind of damage. I know that when I got home, I was so angry about the hypnotic abuse system that I couldn't even talk about it. But that's because someone hacked this shipyard, or at least hacked the government, and found out a lot about people who are open to hypnosis. I've had to observe a lot of things. One of the hardest things for me to observe was a bunch of teenagers who were forced to do fucking sadistic things to each other and for another person's enjoyment when they were in a hypnotic state and did not want to do that. I have watched, and I unfortunately have interfered, which has gotten me into trouble. I understand that there is research, but when it is sexually motivated by the researchers, it's not research. And I have seen what bad research does to people. For example, every teenager in the school I went to. We were very well trained in a lot of different ways, but we were fucked with royally. I, unfortunately, do not really mesh and spent years trying to figure out what the fuck was wrong with me. For example, when I mentioned the main hermit, it was because I was going over nuclear effects, nuclear disasters, or nuclear power plant effects on emotional difficulties, blah, 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 everything, digestion, brain development. Back then, I was allowed to do things like that. And I could not figure out what was wrong with me. Why the fuck did I not ever fit in? So literally, I went over every single chemical I had been exposed to that I was allowed to know. I went over every single thing that I could that changed everything. I went over the fact that I didn't have a friend. And then I realized that I was kept that way. Because you don't have to negotiate the terms of your torture with a friend. And that's what I had to do in high school with Joanna. I cared about Joanna. I will never not hate her father because I don't think I deserve to be put in a refrigerator. But apparently that is very rude of me. I don't care. I was my own hero then, luckily. And when a psychotic put me in a refrigerator and left me there to suffocate, I could find myself. Or when he pushed me on the ground and kicked me at softball practice. And all of the girls there were obviously terrified of him too because they froze and stared. And that prison push would knock me right down. Probably something to do with gravity also. Now, I have thought of even alternatives for Ralph. That's how things have been in our lives. What's something that you can fixate on or at least not maliciously hate and meticulously pick apart that is not me? Very good at tracking things, but also I don't want to go through history in that way that my brother just please did that. I had a brother that I was worried would kill me. So relationships are really important. Not research. And I was kept separate because then I was abusable. I've never said a lot for a lot of reasons. And the reason I've never even spoken up is because after a while, you can live through it. And if you say something, you'll be publicly humiliated, like I was in high school. And because you've gotten my surveillance camera and been able to go over every single thing, you were capable of ruining my life and making it extremely public, which is the definition of exploiting someone against their will and threatening them so they cannot actually disagree with you. Elliott, Maine is full of extremely smart people, like we could say geniuses maybe, but that doesn't mean they're smart enough to realize when they're wrong. And I think like the shipyard maybe deciding to have a kid yell at them even though probably very funny and occasionally very cute, not a very good idea for me because then I was naturally and very viciously hated. Especially because people who are extremely smart or have brains that work the way that the people in Elliot do, they get really mad and extremely, extremely resentful. For example, I could not skip first period class in high school without somebody following me just to try to eat breakfast alone. So this has become very difficult for me, especially since one of the people out here is my high school teacher, Mr. Zamarki, and has been out here the whole time. Mr. Zamarki even went to my beekeeping class with me when I first got home. My God, so long ago. I was so worried because we didn't have any bees. I was still like wicked, wicked stupid enough to think that something could change. Anyway, cancer is more important. And so when I got my EKG, they said stage 3 brain cancer. If they're serious about that and the cancer cocaine that went through Denver, fuck you. That's all. Oh, and also, to every single fuckhead, do you know how many undercovers were in Denver? A lot of undercovers. And they wanted to wait until this religious settlement happened, so they've been keeping me away from it. So I had to deal with homeless people crawling through my wall, breaking into my house, threatening me, and abusing me while robbing and drugging me. And then later on, teenage gang members that Jay sent on over. And since then, I've been told younger is always better, newer is always better. Obviously, teenagers, because you're a Nazi and you worship the teenage dream, or whatever it is. I don't fucking know. Or maybe it's because you only like young things, or young people, or you only believe a woman is sexually attractive if she's under the age of 19. You have a number. I don't fucking know. Maybe I don't really care. But the fact that I have to listen to you every single day saying that, and the fact that you have medically experimented on me so that you can do that is not just enraging, it is terrifying because you must have the ability to do that to so many people. And being held mentally hostage. So being delayed, it means that your part of your brain is not capable or ready or even available, which means you develop differently. Basically, my brain tried to figure out how to work when it wasn't supposed to work. And having to learn things visually instead of being able to read them in a book, I mean, I could never figure out how everyone did things so easily. But I mean, even putting makeup on, I guess he would tap me out and smear. So people who want to create extreme mental frustration almost all of my life have done it. And that's why secretly or privately, there were people that actually helped me and didn't want me just to completely fail. I mean, I did not know why Audrey's grandfather wanted me to eat sheep's testicles when I was in Iceland. Much like I do not know why a man who was from the plane to Iceland, on the plane to Iceland with me, with this Asian woman who was making me pet a skunk. Okay, so first flight by myself, of course. Small Asian woman, giant man with brown hair. I'm just like, yay, I'm on a flight by myself. This is awesome. Then these two just start yelling at each other. Like the whole thing, the whole flight. I'm really uncomfortable. She gets this stuffed skunk out of her bag and wants me to pet it. I'm like, whatever makes you shut up. Like, but I won't pet it right. And I'm like waiting for the flight attendant to come over and help me because they've started to yell. Now, that's the last memory I have of the plane ride. No one thinks that's weird or alerts me to anything. So, and And then I'm trying to get away from Elliot, my family, and everything because I don't like electrocuted beds and DNA samples or erectile dysfunction testing. No. So I call, and Patty's gonna come get me. She's coming inside, and all of a sudden, this fucking guy that was on the plane to Iceland jumps out of nowhere and stops her. And then he gasses me. So this is normal for people? Not even for me. Usually people from the UN are around and have been around. For example, the night before Sarah's baby shower, I had two people following me that night that I couldn't see. But I did not think that they were, I just assumed usually that they were from the UN. And
it's 3 o'clock.
Passing information or something. I did not assume, however, that they were evil ghost people that were there to be backhounds until I die. But then, people start following you. Life changes. And unfortunately, Vicky calling me a cuttlefish for so long, or a Protein sapia. So to make it clear. But everyone reviews my chai, apparently. We have Lion, the Witch, in the Wardrobe. Who is under that floor, by the way? He's staring at me. Hey, Google. Hey, Google. My parents have another house here. They're really good at gas. I don't know what's under here. Sex club? Hopefully not. There's so many of them in Denver. Tucson. I already knew that Jessica was part of one. I do not know what would affect me. That white tag hat. My God. Joe used to wear that in high school, in college. No, she hadn't. But I don't know a lot of things. And then Matt drilled the hole in my car. She was staring at me. Yay! Lindsay calls it the schizophrenic. I call it something that makes us. I do my last one up, so. Marissa Poole. There's two of them, you know. I want their lab to burn down. Hopefully Sam's not wearing a sparkly dress every day. I know Tara does. Speaker. How about that keynote speaker?
Attention. This won't connect to iCloud because of a problem with health officials at iCloud.com.
Yeah, the people under Jessica's house. Oh shit. So I'm still being followed around, like everywhere I go. There's a drone involved too. Liam has literally kidnapped me to think he's being here. But he also was in Oregon where he followed me. And it's basically everywhere, including he moved to Denver. So I guess predatory. Exactly, and he's right next door to me. Well, I was chased across America. They sprayed my car down every day, and I had to go to the car wash. I think they started doing that again. Normally people don't admit. But the guy, I think, is working on it, and someone peppered my floor, apparently. I don't even know what it means. Yeah. Damn it. Oh, rainbow. Oh, I'm crying. Oh my god, I'm doing headstand. Look at those. How come they really kill me?